Good morning. Hi, I'm Pam Fox. Thanks for tuning in today. It's a beautiful morning. It is July 3rd, 2017, which means tomorrow is the 4th of July, one of my favorite holidays. So I'm introducing July's challenge today, and it's going to be in the category in the circle of life of physical activity. So just to recap, what I'm doing here on the Up Your Game Facebook page is I'm taking, this is called the Circle of Life, and there are 12 categories. And each category is just a component of your life. So for example, spirituality, creativity, finances, career, education, health. These are just different compartments of our lives. And so when we strike a balance and we do well in all of them, that's when we achieve optimal wellness. When we focus on, certain aspects of our life, but we neglect other aspects of our life. I mean, how many times have you heard of someone being referred to as a workaholic? That's like a bad, has a bad feeling to it. Oh, he's a workaholic because he spends all his time on work and neglects his family. So then the whole family, is not doing so well. I can think of two people in my life that dedicate all of their time and energy to their ministry, but their health, they're like 2 cheeseburgers away from a heart attack. So when we don't strike a balance, then, we have an imbalance and we're just focusing all our energies into certain things, whether it's our career or our social life or our ministry or whatever. And so then there's, other things are being neglected. And so this month in July, we're going to be focusing on the category of physical activity, which I thought was great since, July typically, at least where I live, we have ideal weather so we can get outside and exercise. And we just finished up last month's 30-day vegan challenge, which means hopefully, ideally, you're on a path to having improved your energy and feeling like you're more capable to exercise. So when you're eating a plant-based diet, you're giving the body the nutrients that it needs, the nutrients that it requires. If you're eating an abundance of food, if you're eating enough, then you're going to increase your energy and you're going to feel like exercise isn't going to be, such a huge challenge. It's not going to seem like such an incredible chore anymore. And I know not everybody feels that way, but I know I certainly felt that way. And so if you are a person who feels that way, who has always struggled with exercise, who has thought, I know I really should be exercising, and then you try and you just fail at it. It's just something you just feel like you can't do. Oftentimes it's because of the energy. But regardless of that, I would say that if you're here and you're watching this and you really know you should be exercising, but it's just not going to work for you because you just can't do it, you're just too tired, I would say forget the exercise this month and go back to last month's challenge. Try a 30-day vegan challenge. Try it for 30 days, plant-based. Really get your stuff together so you know what you're doing, so that you're eating a variety and an abundance of foods. Cut out the meat, dairy, and eggs. Cut out the junk food. And just really experiment in the kitchen. And I have lots of videos on this if you want to go back and watch those. But try that for 30 days. It's only 30 days of your life, and see what that does for your energy. And don't even worry about the exercise. It's actually bad for us to exercise when we're in a state of poor health. That's just logical. If your body is sick and tired, if it's tired, then it's sick. And if it's sick, then if you go out and, put additional stress on it, that's not going to be helpful. That's only going to be harmful. So it's really best to exercise when your body is in a state of, good health. Okay, so this month's challenge is going to be the 30-day Crush Your Fitness Goals Challenge. And so the reason I chose this particular challenge, I've been thinking about it a lot all year. Like maybe we'll do a 30 days of squats or yoga. I've just had all kinds of ideas. But everybody's going to be in a different place. So to say we're going to do this challenge, only a few people are going to be able to participate. So what I think is better is for each individual to come up with their own fitness goal. And then your goal for the month is to crush that goal. It's to meet that goal. And so then what happens when we go through a month and we end up meeting that goal is that we get excited about that, we feel good about that, we feel accomplished, and then we want to create new goals for ourselves, new fitness goals. So that's the idea of this month's challenge, is to create a challenge for yourself that works for you. So obviously everybody's going to be different based on what you prefer, what your ability level is. Everybody's going to be different. So maybe for one person, you're just going to walk to the end of your driveway every day. Maybe that's it. Maybe you're going to walk around the block. Maybe you're going to walk around the block 3 times, or maybe it's going to be something else. So everybody is going to be different. And we're going to kind of go through the who, what, where, when, why, how to create your fitness goal. And what that's going to do, we're just going to go through this really quick. What that's going to do is set you up for success. So if you go into a fitness challenge and you decide I'm going to ride my bike every day, and that's it, and you don't create a structured agenda or plan or fitness goal, you're really setting yourself up for failure. Unless you're a person that's just got a lot of time on your hands and you love, to be, what's the word when you just spontaneous? Those types of people can do okay with this kind of free-spirited type style of, exercise. But I think most people really require structure in their lives. And when they set up that structure and those goals, then they're setting themselves up for success. So I'm going to walk you through this. Okay. So the first is the who. So who's going to be involved in this fitness challenge or these fitness goals? So obviously you are. Are you the type of person that likes to exercise alone, or do you like to be in a group? Do you need to hire a personal trainer? Are you going to work out with a partner? Are you going to work out with your spouse? Are you going to put your kids in a stroller and take them down to the park and walk around the track? Figure out who is going to be involved. So again, this is going to be different for everybody depending on your situation. Maybe you're a stay-at-home mom. Maybe you work, 50, 60 hours a week. So to figure out what works for you. So first of all, you figure out that who, and then you're going to figure out the what. So the what is, what type of exercise are you going to do? And again, think about what you love. Maybe you're like me and you used to love to dance. I used to go clubbing. I would dance all night. I would get out on the dance floor and you couldn't drag me off. I literally could dance for hours. I love to dance. I've really gotten away from that. So last year or almost 2 years ago, I joined a Zumba class. If you don't know what Zumba is, it involves a lot of Latin, like samba moves. It's very hip-hop-ish, loud music, just loud, banging music. And I loved it. It was so much fun. So that's a tip for you if you love to dance. And there are different levels of Zumba. I know that some are pretty intense. You can buy the DVDs though, and they have different, levels, beginning and intermediate and advanced levels. Or you may even have a beginning Zumba class near you, that you could sign up for. So maybe you love sports. Maybe you used to be really good at sports. So look and see what your local YMCA offers. Try to find something that you love. Maybe you have a killer bike in your garage and you never use it, and you've got trails, all around you that you're not taking advantage of. So think about what you love and do that. I mean, you've got to do it within a realistic, within your ability, obviously. If you're if you think you're going to have a heart attack if you go out and play basketball, then that's not healthy. So think about it and do what you love, but come up with it within the parameters of what your ability is. So the next one is why. Why are we going to exercise? And don't just gloss over this, because a lot of people will think, the answer is obvious, and so I don't need to spend any time thinking about it. But it's actually can be very beneficial for you to understand why you're exercising, because what it will do for you is when you're in those moments of, do I really want to work out today? I'm thinking of skipping it. Or maybe you're in the middle of your workout and you're pushing yourself, to meet a particular goal, and you're in that moment where you want to stop or slow down, but you really want to push yourself. If you have a really good understanding of why you're exercising, that's going to really empower you to keep going and to focus and visualize that goal, which we're going to talk about, the goal writing, and move forward and continue and be consistent. So the why is, it can be something as simple, as I want to live to be able to see my grandkids, or I want to be able to go to my daughter's wedding, because I'm really sick and I might die before she gets married, or, things like this, very deep and powerful reasons, not just, I want to lose weight and be able to fit into those clothes in my closet that I haven't been able to wear in a couple of years. While that can be very motivating for some people, find something deep. I'm going to share an example for something that's really worked for me, and this obviously isn't going to work for everybody. You have to figure out what's deep in your heart that's going to motivate you. But I discovered when last May, I had a goal that I wanted to be able to run for 30 minutes without stopping. And so I decided I was going to go out on the beach on my lunch break, which is just across the street from where I work. So again, I came up with a plan that worked for me, and I was going to run on the beach. And my goal was to be able to run for 30 minutes without stopping, and I gave myself 60 days to do that. I actually crushed that goal in 45 days, but when I was out there on that beach and I was running and I wanted to stop, when I was trying to push myself to go a little bit further today, because maybe I got up to 10 minutes and I was trying to get up to 15 minutes this week. I'm in those moments where the body says, let's stop. Nothing's chasing you. Why are you running? Let's slow down. And then it's a mind over matter, right? You have to try to push yourself even though the body is uncomfortable and it wants to stop. And in those moments, if you have that why, that reason that you're exercising, something deep and powerful within you, it will push you to keep going. And for me, for whatever reason, I found that when I thought about my son, it just gave me a boost of energy. It just made me move. It made me not want to quit. And I don't really know why that is. I thought about it, and I think it really just comes down to when my son was little, we had a very special relationship, and he was my everything, and he really looked up to me and thought I was, the bee's knees. The bee's knees? Yeah, the bee's knees. He really looked up to me and thought I was pretty awesome. And so, naturally you kind of lose that as your son grows up, unfortunately, but I don't think that's his fault. I think that just naturally happens. And I've always wanted that back. And especially now that he's grown and gone away and, we hardly ever see each other or talk to each other, I would think about him out there on that beach, and I would want to keep moving because I wanted him to be proud of me. So you have to go deep within and figure out what that motivation is for you. And that's going to take some time and some thought. Okay, so it's going to be different for everybody. All right, so where are you going to exercise? So obviously if you're just joining a gym, that's where you're going to exercise. But really think about this. Think about what's available to you in your community. Do you have amazing trails like I do that you're not using, right outside your front door? Do you have a gym at your workplace that's available to you that you're not taking advantage of? Or maybe in your apartment or your condo? Do you have pools and, YMCAs and exercise classes that are available to you through different programs? Do you have beautiful just neighborhoods that you could walk or run or walk and run in, or push your kids in the stroller in? If you don't live in a beautiful neighborhood, do you have a beautiful neighborhood that you could drive to? I love, when Dwayne and I go to Portland, we love to just park our car in a neighborhood and get out and walk and just roam up and down the sidewalks and look at people's houses and look at their yards because there's so many beautiful things to look at. So think about where you're going to exercise, because if it's something, if you're picking something you enjoy and you're in a place that really brings you pleasure, when I was running out there on the beach, that brought me so much pleasure because I was at the ocean and it's just gorgeous, and you're just out there and it's tranquil and it's beautiful and it's majestic and it's just, you love it. And I would, every day I would look forward to my lunch break because I knew I was going to run on the beach. Literally, I would look forward to it every day. Wouldn't it be nice if you actually got up every morning and went, I can't wait till I get to exercise today? If you're doing something you love in a place that is wonderful, that will help you look forward to that exercise. So that's the where, and then the when. The when is important because, again, if you're a person that's got work, family, volunteering, appointments, all of this different stuff, your schedule is thick. And now you're trying to incorporate in this exercise. It's important that you make an appointment. Figure out when you're going to exercise. Maybe it's going to be Monday, Wednesday, Friday, at 7 a.m. Or maybe it's going to be after work or on your lunch break. Really get creative and think about what your options are and then schedule that in. Do you guys ever notice when we make an appointment, like with our doctor or our dentist, we schedule it in, we ask for time off, we get someone to cover for us, we think about it, we know it's coming up, we write it on our calendar, we put it in our phone, we leave early from work, we get there early because we respect that doctor and the fact that we made an appointment and the fact that we want to be a person that shows up and is there when we say we're going to be there. But then when it comes to exercise, so many times we don't show up for ourselves. So understand that you're making an appointment and that you respect yourself enough that this is important, that it's a priority, that you're going to make it a priority and you're going to show up for yourself. But set that appointment. Figure out what's going to work for you. If you just say, yeah, I'm going to ride my bike. I'm just going to start riding my bike. But you haven't set up days and times when you're going to do that, you're not setting yourself up for success. So figure out when you're going to do it and schedule it in. Okay, so next is the how, and this is the last component of this structured agenda that we're creating. And I would say that the how, while all of these are important, the how is crucial. The how is going to be your actual goal setting. So your goal isn't necessarily going to be, I'm going to start riding my bike. That's not the goal. The goal needs to be more specific than that. So for example, going back to me wanting to be able to run for 30 minutes without stopping, that was a specific goal. So how am I going to do that? And this is the how. So then I came up with how I'm going to do that. Well, I'm going to go to the beach on my lunch break 4 days a week, and I'm going to run. And I'm going to start out, I'm going to run for 2 minutes. And then I'm going to walk for, 8 minutes. And then I'm going to run for 2 minutes. And then I'm going to walk for 8 minutes. I'm going to do that for a week. And then I'm going to walk for 5, or I'm going to run for 5 minutes. And then I'm going to walk, run for 5, walk for 5. So you come up with how you're going to achieve that goal of running for 30 minutes without stopping. Okay. And give yourself a time frame. I want to be able to do this in 30 days. So you've got to keep it realistic. Make these goals small and realistic. You can have an ultimate goal in the future. So for me, my ultimate goal was to come back to my hometown 5K in Onalaska and place in my division. I ran my first 5K last fall and I actually placed 5th, but to place you have to come in first, second, or third. So for me, that's a realistic goal to spend a year running 5Ks. I decided to run 12 5Ks in a year, come back in a year and place in my hometown 5K. That's my big fitness goal, my year-long fitness goal. And so what am I doing to achieve that? Well, I'm running a 5K every month and I'm, running every day. And I've got 3 months. I've already completed 11 and I've got 3 months until my final, I'm ahead of schedule. So I've got 3 months to train for this 5K I have this coming fall. And so I'm going to share with you in a minute what I'm doing, what my challenge this month is going to be. But going back to the how, so what you're doing is you're creating that goal, that's that focus in the distance. It's that finish line in the distance, and it's very specific so that when you're thinking, okay, today it's my workout day, and you kind of get that feeling like you want to skip it, you remember that focus, why you're doing it, that goal. And so it needs to be something specific. So that's it. So for me, my goal, I've got a couple of goals. So my main goal for this month of July is to be able to, when you get down on the floor and then you go to get up and it's kind of hard to get up. I bet a lot of you can relate to that. Some of you might not be able to, but I've been pretty weak most of my life, so I consider myself pretty weak. Like I remember joining the track team one year. I was my senior year in high school, and my coaches just laughed at me. I would do like that long jump, and I would just jump like 2 or 3 feet, or I would throw a javelin, and it would just like, just like wouldn't even go like 8 or 10 feet. And I would just try so hard, and I've always been weak. When I did cheerleading in high school, I'd go out in my backyard and I'd practice my jumps over and over and over because I had to in order to be fairly decent at it, because I could only jump like a couple inches off the ground even though I was trying so hard. I'm just not a super strong person. So for me, like getting down on the floor and getting back up again, there was a point where I couldn't do it at all. I just avoided getting on the floor altogether. But now I can do it pretty good, but I want to get to the point where I can really just spring up off the ground. So my goal this month is to be able to get up off the floor with ease. How am I going to do that? I'm going to be incorporating in twice a month some YouTube video challenges where I do, these 6 minutes of squats or 6 minutes of lunges, and that's going to help me be able to get up off the floor a lot easier and strengthen my legs. That's also going to help me with my goal of my 5K this fall. And I'm also going to be riding my bike to work 3 days a week because it's just glorious weather right now. And I did this a couple years ago, just riding my bike halfway to work to the bus stop and then getting on the bus and going the rest of the way to work. So I was so happy when I was doing that. And then unfortunately I got in an accident, but and haven't done it again since. But okay, so excuse me. So that's it. I just want to encourage you to check back in with me throughout the month. I'll be here trying to provide support and encouragement for you as you try to crush your fitness goals this month in July. All right, thanks for watching.